everybody. This film is a story of a weekend holiday I had with my two friends, Deirdre and Marlene, in a caravan in the country. It was unique in its way, as none of us had ever lived in a caravan before, and were looking forward to the experience very much indeed. We arrived in good time with every intention of having an early night and plan our activities for the weekend. Well, you know what girls are. We talk for hours. Marlene had arranged to visit nearby relatives. Deirdre and I wandered off on our own and decided to go to the races. We got our tickets and asked the clerk if he could give us any good tips. His reply was very curt and to the point. If he could, he wouldn't be here. We wandered through the milling crowd to study form and see if we could pick any tips from would-be backers. We lost on the first race, so had to study more carefully after that. Then we decided that it was time to go and pick up Marlene and have tea. On our way home, we passed a fairground. If ever a girl had a weakness for fairgrounds, it's me. So in we went. We had a go on everything, even to a stick of candy floss. We had a wonderful time on the dodgems, bumping and boring our way around, thoroughly enjoying every minute of it. The big wheel's something of a sensation to be desired. Going up's not too bad, but coming down, your tummy does a complete somersault every second. To finish the night off, Marlene drew the winning ticket on a chance stall and won a beautiful doll. It was her lucky day. Next day we arranged to hire a cruiser on the river, and before leaving we had a chance to have a rest before getting changed. boatman was quite ready when we arrived, so lost no time in getting away, with intentions of really making the best of the sail. We were fortunate enough to pick a day when a regatta was being held. We cruised up the river to the starting post. We gave a little encouragement to the boys in the race, but they really didn't need any encouraging. Thank goodness there was water between us. We shouted ourselves hoarse and followed the cruise quite away with considerable interest. Turn about and continue on our sail up the river. It was beautiful. Having got quite used to the water, we got very near and bathed on the beam end of the boat. All good things come to an end, all too quickly though, and whilst we leave the pleasure boat cruising up the river, we had lunch and decided on our next port of call. It was unanimous zoo. We arrived just as the lions were being fed. Remind me of the cuddly toys we had when we were children, but their white fur reminds me of my shabby fur coat at home. I must ask my boss for a rise. Look at this chap with his victory sign on his chest. No finer tail could anyone have than the peacock. Its richly coloured feathers spread an air of dignity which everyone admires. All children like the biggest things in life, the elephant. Unfortunately, he's rather temperamental and frustrated by the noise. He tries to get to his secluded home where he's safe, quicker than usual. Evidently he's homesick and wants a little peace and quiet. I've often wondered what it would feel like to be a good swimmer. These seals make me very envious. The way they duck and dive is really remarkable. Watching them feed made Marlene hungry again, and she disappeared in search of something to eat. Oh well, she'll find us later. Deirdre and I continue on our way and come across our closest friends. Their antics and agility are very amusing. As this was the last day of our weekend, we decided to have a lazy morning. After lunch, we planned our activities, and the best suggestion came from Deirdre. We'd already arranged to go to a country club for dinner that evening, so the swimming pool was a great idea. We hurriedly collected our bathing things and off we went. It was a scorching hot day, and sunbathing was just the answer. Unfortunately, Deirdre wasn't very restful and persuaded us all to go in for a swim. We were doing fine until someone suggested going down the chute. Well, Marlene and I hadn't experienced this before, but being game, we had a go, very nervously. We went back to dry off, hoping Deirdre was now able to settle down and sunbathe. As we arrived at the club, Monsieur Arnold courteously greeted us and took us into the Italian garden where our table was reserved. very generously offered us a cocktail with the compliments of the management, which we thought was a charming idea. We sat drinking a heavenly blue cocktail, which he called a dream in the night. It was certainly excellent. The head waiter informed us our table was ready, so off we went. It wasn't long before we were asked to dance, which was a perfect finish to our last day. Next morning it was time to go home, so we packed up feeling rather sad at the prospect of leaving this all behind, but banished the thought with the knowledge that we'd all had a lovely weekend.